Good morning, students. Today's session is for BBA second year. As usual, we will start this session with the discussion of our last class. In my last class, I discussed what is product design and what are the stages of new product development. Let me tell these things in a brief manner. So, first, what is a product design? Product, before understanding the term product design, first we have to understand what is a product, next what is a design. After that we can able to get a clear meaning about product design. So first, what is a product? Product is nothing, it is an output that can be obtained by transforming various inputs like raw material, labor. Means after processing the various inputs like raw material and labor, whatever the output the organization got, we can say that that is a product. Next, what is a design? Design, we can say that it is a plan, a drawing related to a particular thing, and that shows how the thing looks like and what it has to be performed and how it has to be performed. Next comes to product design. What is a product design? By combining the meaning of these two things, we can say that product design means it is a drawing or plan related to a particular product that shows how a product looks like and what it has to perform and how it has to be performed. While designing the product, the designer must have to design the form part and functional part of a product. And there is a direct link between the product design and success or survival of an organization. How? If the design is according to the customer requirement, then the customers are attracted towards the company's product, so that company is able to generate more and more number of customers, so that it helps the organization to get success, or so that it helps the organization to achieve its objective. And survival is possible if the organization having good design or latest design product. Next comes to stages of new product development. If the organization want to develop a new product, it has to develop its new product by adopting various stages. These are the stages through which the organization is able to develop its product. So the first stages of new product development is idea generation stage. Next one, idea screening, business analysis, product development, test marketing, commercialization, and review of market performance. So first stages of new product development is idea generation stage. In idea generation stage, what the organization will do? In this stage or in this first stage of new product development, the organization generally doesn't have any idea related to a product which they are going to produce. They don't have any idea about the product which they are going to produce. So for that reason, they want to generate number of ideas from various sources. Generally, there are two sources for generating ideas. First one is the internal sources. Second one is the external sources. Internal sources means what? Internal sources means it is the source that is available within the organization. Means if the organization want to generate ideas internally, they have to consult their employees. They have to discuss with their employees regarding product ideas. They have to discuss with top management, with research and development department, with salesperson of the company. By consulting them, organization is able to generate number of ideas. And through external sources, it can able to generate number of ideas. Externally, how organization able to generate ideas? By consulting or by discussing with its supplier and retailer, by taking the views of the customer, and by getting the knowledge of the competitor's product, the organization is able to generate number of ideas in first stage. Next stage of new product development is idea screening. In idea screening stage, what the organization will do? In first stages, organization is able to generate number of ideas, but organization had to adopt or had to accept one product idea for production. So in second stage, what the organization will do? Organization have to set a committee, and that committee consists of group of experts, and the responsibility of that committee is to scrutinize the ideas generated in first stage they have to evaluate, they have to shortlist various ideas that is suitable for the organization. In second stage, the committee identifies the valuable ideas, the healthy, sound ideas, sound product ideas for the organization. So unnecessary or unsound, unhealthy idea can be removed in idea screening stage. So in first stage, organization able to generate number of ideas. In second stage, organization able to find out few ideas, few alternatives that is suitable for them. But they have to accept, they have to adopt only one idea, and they have to accept one product idea, and they have to choose one idea for production. So for that reason, they have to follow next stages of new product development, that is business analysis stage. In business analysis stage, what they will do, in this stage, organization is able to find out the exact product for production. How it will happen? In business analysis stage, organization have to conduct number of studies. Organization have to conduct feasibility study, and they have to access the project. They have to access the product viability, means they have to access the technological viability, economical viability of a product, so that they can capable to identify which product is suitable for them, and they can able to identify which product's production will be done with the minimum cost, and they can able to identify which product can be produced by using the available technology. And in business analysis stage, they have to conduct various analysis. They have to conduct demand analysis, cost analysis, and profit analysis. By conducting this analysis, they can able to identify which product having more demand, which product can be produced by consuming less cost and less time, and which product provide maximum benefit to them. They can able to identify in business analysis stage. And in business analysis stage, they can able to identify the valuable product for production. Next stage of new product development is product development. Here the organization get the detailed idea about the product that they are going to produce. So in this stage, actual production started, and the organization produce the goods in a limited quantity, in a limited scale. In product development stage, actual production will take place, and the organization produces limited quantity of goods. Next comes to test marketing. Whatever the product produced in product development stage, organization want to test it in the local market. So organization send it to the local market for testing whether that product is accepted by the customer or not. If that product is accepted by the customer, then they are interested to produce in large quantity, and then they are interested to send their product to the whole market of the country. And that is the concept of, that is the stages of commercialization. In commercialization, what the organization will do, they produce the product in large quantity, in large scale, and they send it to the whole country. Next comes to the review of market performance. This is the last stage of new product development. Means after the product is sent to the different market of the country, the organization have to check, continuously monitor the performance of a particular product in the market. Means whether that product is accepted by the customer continuously or not, or it faces some problem, the organization have to identify. And this is the stages of new product development, and this is all about our last class. Today we will discuss the factors influencing product design. So what is the meaning of factor influencing product design? So the designer must have to consider various factors, various elements while designing a product. Factor or elements is the thing that affect a particular thing. So factor influencing product design means what are the factors that affect the product design? Means while designing a product, the designer has to focus on these elements. If by focusing these elements, if the designer design the product, then we can say that product design is a good design, and that can able to provide success to the organization. Let me discuss all the factors in detail. So first factor influencing the product design is customer requirement. Customer requirement is a very important factor, very important element the designer must have to consider while designing a product. In my last class, I told you that the design must be according to the customer's requirement, and there is a direct link between the design of a product and success of the organization. Means, if the design is according to the customer requirement, then only it can be accepted by the customer. So the design must be according to the requirement of the customer. So the designer must have to consider the requirements of the customer, and they have to design the product accordingly. Take the example of mobile phone. While designing the mobile product, the manufacturer always had to consider the views of the or the requirements of the customer. Means nowadays the customer require slim set and lightweight set. They want wide screen. They want extra features, extra quality cameras. So they want these things. While designing the mobile phone, the designer if consider these things, then that product design can be a better one, and that thing can be accepted by the customer, so that farm success can be possible. Next factor influencing product design is that convenience of operator. The design must be in such a way that that can be conveniently and comfortably operated by user. Means the design must be in such a way that it can be comfortably used by the operator or users. Take the example of industrial product. If the industrial product or bulky product is designed in such a way that it gives comfortable and it is convenience to the operator, then they are interested to, then the user are interested to purchase these things. So while designing a product, the designer must have to design the product in such a way that it should be comfortable and convenienced by the user to operate. Next factor or the element the designer should have to consider, that is the type of material used. So while designing a product, the designer must have to consider the latest quality product if it is available in the market. If they use the latest quality product, latest quality material in designing their product, then only it is a better one. Then only it is of good quality. So the designer must have to identify if there is any latest quality material is available, if there is any new material is discovered in the market, whatever the new material, if they purchase these things and by using this thing, if they design the product, then it is accepted by the customer easily. So while designing the product, the designer not only design the outer part, not only the designer design the shapes and looks of the product, but also he design the functional part of the product. If the organization want to produce the good quality product, means the design must be a good quality. So the designer must have to design the product by identifying good quality materials or by using good quality materials. Next comes to the factor that influencing product design is that work method and equipment. While designing a product, the designer must have to consider various work methods and equipment, and they have to design a product in such a way that the design must be able to run with the product must be functioning able to function with the latest technology. So the designer not only design the functional part, not only design the form part, he has to design also the functional part of a product. So while designing the product, the designer must have to identify the improved work method, must have to identify the good, better equipment and better quality raw materials, so that the functional part of the product can be improved, and that can be a qualitative one, and that can be accepted by the customer. So the work method and equipment factors also have to be considered by the designer. Next comes to price ratio. Price is the very important element for a product designer. While designing a product, the designer must have to consider the price or cost aspect. because it is the main objective of production department, main objective of organization means every organization want to produce good qualitative good at less cost. So how it is possible? If the designer design that particular product in a less cost, then only it is possible to achieve the organizational objective. So price is a very important aspect. Price factors the designer must have to consider, and the designer design the product in such a way that can be produced at a less cost. Next factor or element the designer must have to consider, that is product quality. Product quality is partly depend upon the product design. How the product design, accordingly the producer or manufacturer produces the goods. If the design is qualitative one, then organization or production department is able to produce the good qualitative goods, produce good qualitative goods, and they can able to maintain quality aspects. So while designing a product, the designer must have to identify the good quality material, must have to use improved work method, must have to adopt good equipment so that it can be designed in a proper way and it can be a qualitative design. So accordingly, if the manufacturer produces the goods, then the product quality can be improved. Next comes to process capability. Next factor the designer must have to consider is that process capability. What is the meaning of process capability? What is this factor? The organization or the designer have to consider this factor. The designer have to identify what is the capacity of the organization to produce the goods. How much the organization having the capacity. Within that, if he design the product, then only it is possible for the manufacturer to manufacture the goods. Last factor he has to consider is that packaging aspect. Means packaging is the most important thing of a product design. It is the outer part of a product and that attracts the customer to purchase the things. If the designer design the package or design the outer part in an attractive manner, then that product can be easily sold by the organization. So packaging is the most important aspect. The designer, while designing a product, he has to give various focus to packaging aspect of a product, and the packaging must be in a attractive manner, and that can be attracted to the customer for purchasing this thing. So the designer must have to consider these factors for designing a product. If the designer consider this factor while designing a product, then we can say that that product design is a better design and good design. Next comes to a new topic, that is processes. What is a process? Commonly we says that if we want to perform a task, we have to adopt a process so that a task can be completed in a smooth manner. So here what is the meaning of process? Process, we can say that if a task involves number of activities and if we want to complete these things in a perfect or smooth manner, then we have to implement, we have to perform all the activities in a step-by-step manner or in a sequential manner, so that the person can able to get a desired result and can able to get a valuable result. So process means what? Process is nothing. It is a sequence of activities that intended to achieve some result. So in process, what the organization will do in case of process, the organization having number of activities and each and every activities should have to perform in a sequential manner, in a step-by-step manner. So at last the organization get a result, get a valuable result, and whatever the result they got by adopting a process, that creates a value for the customer. So we can say, what is a process? Process is a sequence of activities that is intended to achieve some result. If we want to complete a task in a smooth manner, then the organization or the production department has to adopt a process through which they can able to achieve the desired result, and that can add some value to a particular product. So through a process, the organization can able to convert its input into various outputs. So by adopting different process, by performing the activities in a step-by-step manner, the organization is able to convert its input into output. And after producing the product by using a process that create more value for the customer, and no product can be made without a process. No product, no service can be provided, or no product can be made without using any process. So the production department must has to implement some process for producing the goods. Here the last point is written that process decision involves many different choices in selecting human resources, equipment, machinery and materials. What is this? So according to the selection of the process, organization have to select the right quality of human resource. Means organization have to select the human resource who have the capability to deal with such process, and organization have to select the equipment, machineries and materials in such a way that can capable to deal with such process. So process identification helps the organization to identify human resource, identify equipment, machinery and materials that can be used by this process. So what is the meaning of process? Process is a sequence of activities that can be performed by the organization to achieve a desired result. Next comes to types of process. What are the types of processes? Process can be categorized into three types. First one is the conversion process, second one is the manufacturing process, third one is the testing process. So let me discuss all the types of process in detail. So first one is the conversion process. What is a conversion process? The word conversion says that converting something from one stage to another stage. So your conversion process means what? Or if the organization adopt conversion process, what they will do? In conversion process, the organization, the production department simply convert the raw materials into finished goods without adding, without removing some materials. Means in conversion process, they doesn't produce completely new product. Simply they convert the raw material into finished goods. Take example of Tata. Tata, what will do? Tata converts the raw materials, means Tata converts the iron ore into iron, then into steel. So the example of conversion process is that converting the iron ore into iron, then to steel. In conversion process, what the organization will do, what the production department will do, the production department simply convert the materials into finished goods. Means simply they convert the iron ore into iron and then to steel. Next comes to manufacturing process, and manufacturing process is a complicated process. It involves three processes. First one is the forming process, second one is the machining process, and third one is the assembling process. What is this? First one is the forming process. In case of manufacturing process, the organization is able to, the production department is able to produce a completely new product. How this is happen? With the help of manufacturing process. In manufacturing process, or if the production department wants to adopt manufacturing process, first they have to adopt forming process. In forming process, what they will do? Forming process involves changing the shape of raw material into shape of workpiece, or into shape of the required raw materials, required size of raw materials, without removing or adding of materials. Means what? In case of forming process, what the production department will do? In case of forming process, they have to change the shape of raw material into the form of work pieces. Take the example of Tata. Tata manufactures various automobiles like trucks, buses and cars. So for manufacturing a car, they require various types of iron sheets and steel sheets, and that is not readily available in the market. They have to prepare the steps for that automobiles. After assembling the thing, the desired shapes, what the organization will do, what the production department will do, the production department has to adopt the forming process. In forming process, they can capable to change the shape of iron sheet, shape of steel, change the shape of steel sheet into the workpieces, into the desired sheets. So what they will do in forming process, they have to adopt foundry process, forging process, and stamping process. These are the technical terms related to production management. Let me tell all the things in detail. So first one is the foundry process. What they will do in foundry process? In foundry process, they have to produce casting. What is the meaning of casting? Casting is a process through which organization can avoid the production department can able to produce the desired shape of materials. Means in casting, what the production department will do in casting, the production department convert the solid metals, means convert the iron sheets into liquid form by heating. After converting the solids into liquid, they pour it into a desired frame, desired size or desired shape frame. After that, they provide cool to the particular shapes, and after cooling, whatever the desired shape, the organization able to get. So first one is the first picture shows the process of casting. In casting, what the production department will do? The production department has to convert the solid metals into liquid. After that, they pour into the desired shape frame. After giving cooling to that thing, they can able to get desired shape and desired sizes of a raw material or desired size of work pieces. This is the process of casting and this is the process of foundry. Next, in forming process, what step they have to adopt and what process they can able to use, that is the forging process. In forging process, what they will do, if the organization want to change the shape of a product or change the if the production department want to flat some parts of a raw material, means if the organization want to flat some part, that is the starting and ending point of an iron rod, then this can be done with the help of heating and hammering. The second picture shows the process of forging. In case of forging, what the production department will do, the production department gives heat to a particular part. After that, they hammer to that one, and they can able to make the design accordingly their requirement. So in case of forging, there is no requirement to produce casting. By giving heating to a particular thing, they can able to, and by hammering, they can able to change the shape of a particular product. And next one is the stamping. Stamping means what? Stamping means pressing the iron sheet or steel sheets of a desired steel sheet by a particular shapes workpiece with particular shapes. What is the meaning of stamping? Stamping, in case of stamping, what the designer will or what the production department will do, they have to change the shape of a particular product, shape of a workpiece by pressing the desired shapes or the desired sizes onto it. And in case of forming, the organization change the shape of workpiece without adding and without removing the materials from it. Next comes to the process of machining. In case of machining process, the organization produces different parts of a product. So for that reason, they adopt turning process, milling process, drilling, grinding, and shaping process. Machining process is a metal removal process. Take the example of nut and bolt. The structure of nut and bolt can be manufactured in first process, that is in forming process. But the internal rings of a nut and bolt can be manufactured through the machining process. In machining process involves removal of metals from a parts. So through turning, through milling, organization and production department can capable to produce the desired parts. So what is the turning? What is the milling? In case of turning, the third picture reveals the process of turning. In case of turning, what the production department will do? The production department has to fix the parts onto a iron rod onto a frame. After that, they have to take a cutter and they use the cutter for removing some materials from that parts, and the iron rod where the materials where the inputs is attached, that must be in a rotatory manner, and this is the process of turning. Next comes to process of milling. In case of process of milling, what the production department will do? In case of milling, the cutter is fixed and the parts which is attached to a particular rod that can be rotated, and the cutter is fixed, and through the cutter the part can be some parts of the material that can be removed. So in case of turning, the cutter is rotated. In case of milling, the product is rotated. So in machining process, what the production department will do? In machining process, they can capable to produce the desired parts for forming a product. So it is a process that helps the production department to remove the materials. In case of nut and bolt, the nut and the shape and size of nut and bolt can be manufactured in forming process, and the material removal means the internal rings of a nut and bolt can be manufactured in machining process. Next comes to assembly process. In assembly process, what the production department will do? Whatever the parts formed in machining process, they have to join this part, they have to assemble this part. After assembling this part, they can capable to produce a finished goods, they can capable to produce a new commodity. And in assembling process, they adopt various process like welding, soldering, soldering. They can join two parts. After joining various parts, they can able to produce a new commodities. So manufacturing process involves three processes: forming process, machining process, and assembling process. By using this process, organization can capable to produce a qualitative goods, produce a desired goods are at new commodities. Last processes that is available is that testing process. In testing process, what the organization or production department will do? Whatever the product manufactured in manufacturing process, they have to test that product, whether that product is according to the standard one, according to the decided one or not. They have to inspect, they have to test the product quality. After identifying that product is according to the standard, then the organization decides to send it to the market for selling. So for producing a product, the organization has to adopt three processes. First one is the conversion process, manufacturing process, and last one is the testing process. Again, manufacturing process involves three processes. First one is the forming process, machining process, and assembling process. Every organization adopts these three processes for manufacturing a new commodities, manufacturing a new goods. Or some organization adopt two processes, that is conversion processes and testing processes. Let's take the example of Tata Vizag steel plant, Bokaro steel plant, and Rourkela steel plant. They adopt three processes for producing various goods. So first, Tata or Vizag steel plant first adopt conversion process. By using conversion process, they convert the shape of raw material into usable workpiece, means they convert the iron ore into iron sheets and then to steel sheets. After converting the iron ore into iron and next to steels, they adopt the manufacturing process. In manufacturing process, what they will do? In manufacturing process, they produces casting, they produces forging, and after doing these things, they make they're able to producing various types of rods, various types of desired iron sheets, and various types of desired iron sheets and different sizes rods also. So after manufacturing all these things, they have to test the quality, test the length of the product. That has to be decided, that is to be decided in first. So testing all the things, they can send it to the market for selling. So adoption of process is very important, and every production adopt this process for manufacturing the goods. So this is all about today's class. Thank you.